On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, I have another roundup for you of my top 10 crypto news stories of the day. Now, if you would like to get paid crypto to watch my videos, then please go over to thecryptoverse.show and click on this big blue button at the top that says Get Paid to Watch, and then there's a 2-minute video that explains exactly how that works. But for now, let's get into the news stories. Starting with story number 1, Steem and Monsters Battle Play begins this week. It's going to begin as soon as Sunday. So this comes right from steem.com, from the official Steem Monsters blog. Now, in the spirit of promoting blockchain applications that have a real-world use and a credible chance of mass adoption, I've been keeping my eye on Steem Monsters, which is a collectible card game. I'm historically a collectible card game nerd, so that's another thing that's got to do with it. Now, this mirrors the classic collectible card game model in that you buy booster packs that contain a certain number of common cards, uncommon cards, and then randomly selected rare cards, and then you build decks based on your collection to play strategic battle games against other players. In the case of Steem Monsters, there's going to be tournaments, cash prizes, and all this other stuff. So it's brilliant. And Steem has the processing capacity to make it very, very easy for anyone to play without too many interruptions, especially since Steem transactions are free. So Steem Monsters stands out to me because instead of doing an ICO, they actually generated revenue by selling their actual product, meaning selling packs of cards out of their supply, right? So they did that, and they did a bit of Kickstarter crowdfunding as well, which was overfunded. So the story is that the actual gameplay is due to start this Sunday, so look out for that. For the investors out there, I expect adoption of this game will significantly increase the value of the Steem cryptocurrency. Not financial advice, but given that it's going to drive demand for the Steem network, that's a logical conclusion. The reason I've gone a bit sour on ICOs is demonstrated by the next story, which is UBEX hits its ICO hard cap, pumps, and then dumps. So check it out. This is what the chart looks like on CoinMarketCap. You can guess where the ICO hard cap was hit, can't you? And then look, it was steady for a while, trading pretty much sideways during the ICO, which it was doing, and then bish, bosh. Not good. Not good at all if you held it. So if you haven't already watched my video called The Truth About ICOs in 2019 and beyond, I would highly, highly recommend that you watch it. It's a shame that it doesn't have that many views, right? The reason I think it might have so few views is because I don't think people want the truth about ICOs. So go have a watch of it and let me know what you think. Next story. If you're interested in the technical side of Bitcoin scaling, this next story is for you. So the recordings from the conference called Scaling Bitcoin 2018, they're now up on the Scaling Bitcoin YouTube channel. So if there's like 11 hours of content here that's been uploaded to YouTube. I've been subscribed to Scaling Bitcoin for about a year, and they haven't posted anything in about a year since the last conference. So the last video was like 11 months ago, and then because I'm subscribed, the new uploads happened and they went into my feed, and I was like, hey, Scaling Bitcoin. So you got 11 hours of detailed content on Scaling Bitcoin for you right there. And it's only a few days old, so go check that out, link in the description. Next. Here's a new tool that I found that will occupy you for at least a couple of minutes. It's exchangewar.info. So it's like crypto exchange war, which we know is on. So here it is. What this is quite interesting about this. I find this quite helpful because it gives a concise reference of key exchange data, such as like the region that each exchange is based in. It talks about fees, talks about volume, it talks about the top pairs, trading pairs on each exchange. It even has a news column. What I find most interesting about this is that 3 out of the top 10 exchanges are based in Hong Kong, and then another 2 out of the top 10 are listed in Japan. So that's very interesting. Unfortunately, there are no US exchanges in the top 10. There are 11th, 12th, and 13th place, but not in the top 10. Next story. The SEC has set a new deadline of the 5th of November for reviewing 9 Bitcoin ETF applications. Now, this was actually originally not set for the 5th of November. As stated by the Cointelegraph here, it says they previously gave a date of the October 26th which was the date that I gave on last week's live stream, because that was correct at time of publication, if you like. But then the SEC have changed their mind, and it's the 5th of November for these ETF deadlines instead of the 26th of October. So 5th of November is what we're looking for. So that's Guy Fawkes Day, right? Now, this relates to 9 ETF proposals from three different applicants. So that's kind of important detail. I have drawn the line. I already had this line on my charts anyway. You remember this vertical yellow line that I keep talking about? Because I've pushed it back and back and back every time the deadline for the ETFs has been revised. But what's interesting is this vertical yellow line demarcates the 5th of November, when we now expect the SEC decision to happen. Right next to that is a thinner vertical blue line. That is the end of the current 80-day cycle for Bitcoin. So there's a coincidence there. So fingers crossed that those two things signal the beginning of the next bull market. Next story. Casino Fair is now live using Funfair on the Ethereum blockchain. But it only supports 4 countries right now, including Switzerland. So if you want to check this out, you go to casinofair.com. So here it is. What's remarkable about this, and cool and different, is that the games have a 3D graphics engine. And plus it all runs on Ethereum. So I'm playing a demo game right here. So if I click new bet, I can stick like 100 in there, click place bets, click deal, and then actually deals it out in a 3D kind of animation-y style. So pretty good stuff, right? I quite like it. Blackjack isn't the only game they've got, by the way. But in terms of the price of the Fun token, it's pretty flat. It hasn't really escaped the onslaught of the bear market, but it is nice to see fundamentals of the Fun token being bolstered ever more. So if you're an investor in that project, good news for you. Next story. The world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, announces that all listing fees will not only now be published, but they'll also now be donated to Binance's charities. This was reported by Binance themselves. There it is. In support.binance.com, it says listing fee update. We will make all listing fees transparent and then donate 100% of them to charities. How interesting. So you know that cryptocurrency exchanges, they get a lot of hate for charging supposedly huge listing fees to projects who want their tokens listing for trading, right? The exchanges can sort of get away with this because they understand the amount of power that they have. The exchanges are the gatekeepers that determine if a token will be able to find a price or not. If a token ain't listed anywhere for sale, it doesn't have a price, and everyone who's bought them in the ICO is pretty much stuck. So in an effort to combat this, Binance have officially announced that they're going to A, make the fees transparent, B, make them variable, so you can just pitch whatever fee you want, and whatever it is going to go to charity anyway. Binance do say, though, that the higher fees that you pledge doesn't necessarily mean a higher chance of being approved on the exchange, so you still can't bribe them. Excuse me. Binance then directs us to their foundation, which is at binance.charity, where you can learn more about their charitable efforts. Very good stuff, if you ask me. Next story. Over $8 billion has fled the Russian banking system in the last 2 months, according to an article from Bits Online. Here is the story. Interesting, I think it's a Futurama graphic they've used there. It's some artist at Bits Online because it's signed by them. But anyway, despite interest rates in the Russian banking system being as high as 7 or 8%, that's 7 to 8% interest on deposits. Despite that, $8 billion of capital has still fled out of the Russian banking system away from those interest rates. Normally, 7 to 8% interest, that would be one hell of a carry trade for all you traders out there. So according to Bits Online, a US Congress drafted bill, which was originally drafted in August, will enact sanctions against the Russian finance sector. So it's primarily corporations and businesses that are pulling their money out of the Russian banking system, which adds further speculation to the fact that it might be preparatory steps, people preparing for these sanctions and pulling the money out of the Russian banking system before the US sanctions it. This benefits crypto because of what I call the nowhere to run syndrome. So as governments and central banks keep playing these power games against each other and using money as the weapon and fiscal policy and so on, we the people recognize that we need to protect ourselves and our wealth. And since crypto sits outside of all of this drama and the system that is being played out within, crypto becomes an increasingly attractive prospect, does it not? I mean, we're already sold on it anyway. I'm just talking about people who have yet to be convinced. They'll be increasingly squeezed and incentivized to come over to the light side. Next story. Crypto exchange Bitfinex denies rumors of insolvency and banking issues, as reported by the Cointelegraph. If we go again to the Cointelegraph. Now, I am going to play objectivity on this one. To my mind, it contains a bit of a strange and an enormous logical leap. The source of this story is that Puerto Rico bank, Noble Bank International, they announced last week that it was looking for a buyer because it had become unprofitable to operate as a bank. They also said that it recently lost two big customers, Bitfinex and Tether. So that's the facts. I don't see how, though, Bitfinex and Tether choosing to change banks means they're insolvent. They're just not even related concepts. I understand how this Puerto Rican bank losing those two big customers could be a blow to their profitability. I have no problem with that. But extending that to mean that Bitfinex is insolvent, that's just too much of a stretch for me. If there is other evidence that Bitfinex is insolvent, fine. But there doesn't seem to be any. In fact, if you have any evidence, please post a link to it in the comments below so we can all take a look at it and then I'll report on it. Next story. Venezuelan passport fees must now be paid in the Petro cryptocurrency. Guess that's one way to create demand for your token. Hey, this comes from the Toshi Times. Here it is. Venezuelan passport fees must be paid in cryptocurrency Petro. The article also says that 5,000 people leave Venezuela every day, according to the UN's latest data. So not a good state of affairs over there. Now, making it difficult to get a passport and actually expensive to get a passport, I suppose, is one way of keeping people within the country. But it doesn't stop them from wanting to leave now, does it? So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and share down below. And if you want to get paid to watch my videos without ads, remember, go over to the cryptoverse.show, click on this big blue button that says Get Paid to Watch, and it'll explain all about it. Other than that, I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.